The laughter came first, then her voice, light, practiced, dripping with the same charm she once used on me. "Come on, it's just a joke. He knows I'm kidding." My wife's boss, Preston Hale, stood beside her, holding a glass of champagne and a smirk sharp enough to cut glass. Around them, the crowd, executives, investors, her new colleagues, laughed like obedient echoes. I didn't. I just stood near the bar, a stranger in my own company's celebration. The company she thought belonged to Preston. The branch opening bore my name in the documents no one ever read. My name, hidden behind shell corporations, investment arms, silent boards. She'd never asked where the money for her dream job had come from. She only said she deserved it. That I should be proud she was finally stepping up. So I was. Quietly. Until tonight. Preston raised his glass and nodded toward me. "That's your husband, right? The one you said still drives the same old car?" Her cheeks flushed. A nervous laugh. "Well, he's simple." "Simple?" Preston repeated, smirking. "That's one word for it." More laughter. I sipped my drink. Bitter, like every unspoken moment between us. And in that second, I knew this wasn't just mockery. It was exposure. A public reminder of where I stood. Except they were standing on my floor, and they didn't know it yet. The evening unfolded like a slow dissection. Every toast, every whisper, every touch between them revealed more than words. Her hand lingered on his arm. His gaze stayed on her lips. Their laughter carried a rhythm too familiar, too intimate. I'd seen that same rhythm once, years ago, when she laughed with me. Something cold settled inside me. Not anger, not jealousy. Recognition. When the music softened, she approached me, glass in hand, smile rehearsed. "You okay?" she asked. "As always," I said. "You're quiet." "I'm watching." She tilted her head, pretending confusion, but her eyes flicked toward Preston. Guilt lives in the eyes, not the words. I'd seen messages before, deleted threads, calls labeled work emergencies, the perfume that didn't belong to her. But I hadn't confirmed it. I'd waited, observed, let her build her illusion until she believed it was real. Now, surrounded by crystal glasses and fake congratulations, that illusion cracked. Preston raised his glass again. "To our brilliant new branch manager, who'll take this company to new heights." Everyone clapped. She smiled, radiant and self-satisfied. I smiled too, because I knew who really signed her contract. The weeks before tonight, I had moved like a ghost through her world. Silent, invisible. I'd watched the bank statement shift. The hotel charges marked business. The sudden dinners that ended after midnight. I didn't confront her. I didn't accuse. I planned. I had lawyers reroute ownership shares through offshore subsidiaries. I had my name erased from public documents, but engraved deeper in the legal framework. She thought she was rising, but every step she took was a stair I built. Sometimes I'd lie awake beside her, listening to her breathe, wondering when the last honest word between us had been spoken. Her phone would glow faintly at night. She'd turn it over, sleep facing the wall. I'd stare at her silhouette and think of how betrayal doesn't arrive like thunder. It seeps in, quiet, invisible, until it becomes the air you breathe. So I stopped breathing it. When the invitation to the branch opening arrived, I already knew. Knew how Preston flirted, knew what they whispered, knew what she'd risked for a man who couldn't afford the chair he was sitting on. I wasn't coming tonight as her husband, I was coming as her reckoning. Preston called her to the stage. Cameras flashed. He announced her as the driving force behind the branch. My wife beamed, eyes wet with pride. Then he joked again, something about how even her husband should be proud if he can afford the drinks here. Laughter, again. That's when I moved. I stepped forward, my calm deliberate. The crowd hushed. "Preston," I said, voice low but carrying. "You've always had a talent for humor, but you should really check your employment contract before making fun of your boss." Confusion rippled. My wife turned sharply. "What are you talking about?" I handed him a folder, neat, white, quiet. Inside, my ownership documents, company seals, board approvals, signatures. He flipped through them. His smirk faltered. My wife stared between us, color draining from her face. "You're joking." "No," I said, softly. "You were." Silence swallowed the room. Only the soft hum of the air conditioning remained. Then whispers, then stillness again. Preston tried to recover, his voice shaky. You could have said something." "I did," I said, "years ago, when I believed in honesty." My wife's glass slipped from her hand, shattering at her feet. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't look angry. That was the point. I turned to her. "You said you wanted to be independent, to prove yourself. You did, under my name, my funding, my company." Her lips trembled. You knew?" "I built it for you," I said. "Watched you trade me for the illusion of power. And then watched you mock the hand that made it all possible." Preston looked like a man drowning in silence. The investors watched him with quiet disgust. I looked at them, then back at her. "Effective immediately," I said. "Preston Hale's employment is terminated. Security will assist." 2 guards appeared, efficient, unspoken. He protested, babbling about misunderstandings. No one listened. Then I looked at her one last time. "You can stay," I said, "for now. But the position comes with a cost. Integrity. Which, I'm afraid, you've already spent." She didn't answer. She just stared, eyes wide, reflecting every lie she'd told. I left before the noise returned. The laughter, the whispers, the explanations. Outside, the night air was cold, clean. Freedom has a scent. I loosened my tie and watched my reflection in the glass door. Calm, unreadable. Once, I would have wanted her to beg. Now, I only wanted silence. Power doesn't come from shouting. It comes from knowing you no longer need to. As I walked to my car, my phone buzzed. A message from her. "Please, can we talk?" I deleted it. Then, for the first time in years, I smiled. Because the truth wasn't just revealed, it was owned. And so was everything else. Final line, I didn't destroy her world tonight. I only reminded her, it was mine all along.